I'm curious because, you said pussy, so let's get into some sex magic. I think that this is an important topic just because we're talking about so many things that are kind of out of our control, but what we can control is our manifesting capabilities. And I love the manifesting aspect of sex magic and how to call that in and bring into fruition the life that you want. So how do we do that?
Girl, let me tell you, it works. I've done absolutely everything with sex magic. And also for me, there is a deep support system that can be accessed through a more powerful relationship with the planet, with Mother Earth, with nature. I find that because we're using the body for sex magic, and the body is the fundamental earthly element, it is this foundation upon which not only we grow, but our spirit grows, our energy amplifies. Sex magic is literally just utilizing your sexual energy for magic, whether that's accessing your supernatural gifts or healing or amplifying your personal power or creating a dream, actualizing a vision. How I have learned sex magic, there's so many different practices. There's Celtic sex magic and there's more, Egyptian. Like I would say that there's a lot of sound in the Egyptian lineage when we're talking about like these chambers and what the pyramids were really for. Finding the path, like I like to call it your IntuWitchin. That's the name of my book as well. And your intuition, your inner wisdom, your inner guidance system is always going to guide you to whatever the thing is that's right for you. So my personal practice that I have learned from my tantric lineage is about using breath, sound, and movement through the chakra system. So you start at the root and it's red and it's primal and it's the earth element. So it's like the animal nature of who you are. And then it's into the womb or the sacral chakra. This is watery. It can be associated with orange. So you like swirl this warm golden energy in that chalice inside of you, which again, men and women, you still have a sacral chakra. You have that. That's where our holy waters, right? Our sweet waters of our genitals and our sexual organs all live for all of us. So you tune into like the flow and the sensual nature of what this thing is that you're amplifying. You rise up into the solar plexus chakra. Again, this is with breath and sound and movement. What does the fire inside of you sound like? What is the movement of like that fiery action within you? This, again, the solar plexus is our chakra of action. So that's a really important place as you're doing this sex magic to really follow what your body wants to do. If you want to like shake or like get super weird, then like you have to do that because that is the portal of transformation. That is the fire element within us. Like, let me take action. Let me do the thing that I'm guided to do.
So are you moving then with the feeling in each chakra? You're kind of allowing your body to move, whether it's through personal pleasure or whether it's through dance. Is that all it's however your body
I've done this practice in every position. I've done it sitting, I've done it standing, I've done it with two hands, I've done it with one hand, I've done it all different ways. And I was actually celibate for 3 years before I met my partner, and I was doing this practice a lot. So it is generally like with self-pleasure. If you really want to like use it to its highest benefit, you're working through the chakras. Yes. Breath, sound, and movement with self-pleasure or with pleasure with your partner.
Got it. Okay, cool.
So then you're rising up. Your heart is breath. It's green. It's like gratitude. It's expansion. You're breathing into your heart. And again, like you can be in any position. You can be laying down and the dance can take you over, or like you want to just be adding more breath, whatever it is. Like it's such a unique individual practice. I mean, I do this in like community with my sisters, and we actually did finally just do some co-ed sex magic recently that's been like integrated into community. And like, I've seen people do all kinds of things doing this practice. Like you can do it from any position, any props you want to use. I've seen fruit be used in really beautiful ways. Like you just make it your own. Yep. And then you're in the heart chakra. It's green. It's breath. Again, it's the expansive nature of love. Like, what does it feel like to have this thing or to be in this place or whatever it is that you're amplifying and manifesting? Like, what's the love that you feel for it? Then you go up into the throat chakra and it's blue and it's free. And like, this is a great place to like, especially for people like when I lead sex magic in my retreats, anyone who like hasn't made a sound yet, you can just feel like then, like all the sounds emerge finally, like at the throat. And then you bring it up into your vision and you really think about it and feel into it. Like, what is this thing? Like, what are the thoughts that I have already having this? What are the thoughts that are completely healed from my mind? The old negative limiting beliefs, the like bullshit that isn't helping me get this. And you can really cleanse that with your sexual energy. Again, you're lifting this energy from the base of your spine, from your root, through your whole body, charging all of your energy centers. So when you reach your mind, I like to see it as like purple. Some people, say it's indigo, or some people say that it's already white and then the crown doesn't have a color. Again, you get to do whatever you want, but like, I love purple. It's a very regal color to me. It also is a combination when you think about the colors of the rainbow in the body. It's a combination of the root and the throat. So it feels to me like this blending of like my grounded foundation and my full expression. And then that becoming the illustration of my own royalty. So I love to like see this purple energy just like cleansing through my brain and like washing all of my thoughts. And then you let the pleasure rise up into your crown. And for me, I love just like connecting to the divine, connecting to God, goddess, universal consciousness, and like feeling your pleasure as a gift from the goddess or from the universe. Like, what an incredible blessing that we can even access these climatic states. And then from there, with your vision, you don't have to rush, right? There's no rushing. I'm like in the big groups, like, I don't know, there's pressure. Sometimes it's weird. I'm like always the last one to come. Everyone's like had this whole like big giant roaring orgasm. And then I'm like doing it later. So you just take your time, no pressure. You never force yourself. And then you in this connection to the divine, you let this waterfall of pleasure, the waterfall of experiencing your manifestation, just wash all over you. And how I've learned it from Layla Martin, dear sister, OG Tantra teacher. She calls it your five senses reality. And that fountain that washes down over you is what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you touch, what you taste, what you experience, what you smell, in the reality of already having this thing. Yep. So I did this for my book deal. I did this for my partner. I've done this for amounts of money. I've done this for programs and all of these things. Like, I've done this for so many different things that like have all come to fruition in my life. And it's really about like truly understanding what's different. If my life here and now looks like this, and my life here and now looks like that, smells like that, feels like that, what are the big things in between? And then at orgasm or at peak pleasure, again, there also isn't like you don't have to orgasm. There's no pressure, like never put any pressure on yourself with sex magic. And also don't do it when you're like feeling super down, because then you might just like get down on yourself if you don't orgasm. Not a good idea. You want to do this like in a high vibrational state. And that fountain is your five senses reality. It's like the most empowered version of your imagination that you can possibly use. And you just let that wash over you and cascade down upon you and bask in that immersive vision and scene as long as you possibly can. And so that's how I've learned it. You can integrate so many other practices, sigils and mirror work, and like with your partner or by yourself. Like, there's hundreds of different ways to do sex magic, but that's the one that I was really utilizing consistently throughout my time by myself. That helped me draw my partner into my life. And then like maintaining that practice in my community has been really a huge blessing for my business, because again, we're using that creative and sexual energy. And like when you're calling something in from a state of pleasure, I mean, the universe wouldn't make orgasms feel so good if it didn't like us having them. And I think that like I think that the Big Bang, like to me, is like a big cosmic orgasm. Like just the universe coming, like birthing itself.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's so good. It is so good. The whole universe is rocking. So why in a group though? I'm curious about that.
Why not?
I don't know if there's a bigger reason. Is it an amplification of frequency? Is it more about liberation?
Yes. Oh my goddess, the liberation. At least for me, in my early 20s, like living with roommates and stuff, right? Like the only time I had ever heard a woman having sex or like having pleasure was either like behind a closed door that you're kind of like, you're either at a party or like it's a roommate or you're not, you're like not supposed to hear it, but you're just like sitting in your room trying to just like live your life, or it's your parents, or it's, I don't watch porn, but or it's porn or whatever. And there's kind of this like, I shouldn't see this. I shouldn't hear this. I shouldn't know that this is happening.
We all have horrible memories of hearing our parents at least once in our life.
Exactly. I walked in on mine. The first time I ever did that practice with sisters in a circle, it was so profoundly healing to let it be acceptable, to be heard and to hear someone else. Like we started doing it in during this teacher training, and it's part of the homework. And so you just do it on your own, but it was like a bunch of us living in LA. Well, we might
hey girlfriend, what you doing tonight? So I was wondering.
Exactly. No, literally, it became Pussy Church. We do it every Sunday morning. We would do sex, magic, and brunch. When I lead it at my retreats, the unanimous response is, I was so terrified. I was so worried. I was so uncomfortable. And then at the end, it just felt like the most natural thing ever. It just felt so right to support another woman's pleasure, to be there, to like amplify it. One of my other friends was like trying to get a book deal, and we all did sex magic, and she told us her 5 senses reality, and then we all did sex magic to it
for her, like with that intention.
It's about amplification, certainly, but it's more about just healing the stigmas and letting it be acceptable.
Did you do Dr. Bronner's car wash at Burning Man? So I've heard that's similar. Like, obviously it's not orgasming together, but I've heard it's similar that, you basically, so for those who don't know, I mean, this is like a little bit more of a, risque thing to do at Burning Man. You don't have to do it. I didn't do it. I almost did it the last day, and then it was a whiteout. And I was like, I'm not going to go like shower and then be covered in dust. So, but you go and you get naked and you go through the car wash. They hose you off with soap and then they rinse you off. And then you go on the dance floor and they're playing music and you kind of dance and dry off. And the stories that come from that, from people that have helped like sort of like Sherpa and shaman people through it to like be brave enough, is that these women are so liberated afterwards and they feel so much more confident. And I think it's because, you see how human everybody is, and, there's no fears. You're not thinking, you go in thinking maybe I'm going to be weird, or I'm not going to look right or sound right or feel right. And then you realize that you're all the same. Are there any other sort of ancient rituals or practices that you'd like to sort of call to attention that you think people should be practicing right now?
Ooh, hallelujah. I'm so glad you asked me that, because I just was so blessed. This is not something I would have normally dropped into this conversation.
Perfect.
But I'm really glad that you asked, because I actually just had the incredible blessing of participating in a bison harvesting ceremony.
If you like this clip and you want to hear the whole episode, click at the bottom of your screen.